Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good time of day, whatever it may be for you. Welcome back to the LAMDA log. This is week 5, day 4, Thursday, the 4th of June. We started out the day with a company meeting where we just talked about some logistical things. So we're going to have, we're going to need to acquire some props for our theses. And so some of the PTAS tutors who stage managers talk to us, and we'll email them and get all that information so that we can acquire the props. Yeah, pretty straightforward. They're super busy right now with their rep shows going on, and there's going to be like 2 slots per week: Tuesday 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. and Fridays 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. And this is our time to look for props. And then I'll get to that. So there are 3 prop houses. There's the stage manager room, which is the small stuff. There's the downstairs, which is medium stuff. And then there's the offsite, which is larger furniture. And then a van would need to be hired if you need stuff from the big one. And then you also need staff supervision for that. And then advice to keep it to a medium and know what has to be returned. Keep it to a minimum, I think. Try not to get a ton of stuff. We'll have about 9 prop reps. I was nominated, voluntold. We talked a little bit about available light tech as well, and we have access to the basic lights, projectors, playback, TV, and the more tech you have, the more things can go wrong. And then they can't lend out any consumables, so any food, any blood, things like that. And then I'm a rep for the 29th of June for 4 other people, including myself. Yeah. And then we went straight into rehearsal. And I was able to go with Jeremy at the beginning, and we worked on simplifying and being clear with my opening scene with as Aimwell with the landlord. And lean more into the puppy and less into the man of mystery was kind of his idea. And then just be very clear about intention and words. And then we ran 3-3, which was Bel-Air and Mrs. Solon. And we cleaned that up a little bit. And we took what we worked with Kristen, and we just simplified it and made it better. Then we had some lunch. During lunch, I worked on getting some costumes and set pieces. I need to get groceries is my thing, but it's good. Then we worked on 1-1 and we cleaned that, and then we ran it, which was good. And we did a lot of good work to specify the character and the intention. It's getting there. And my lines are mostly there too. I'm so glad I had Tuesday to work on that. And then, so notes for me in 1-1. First, she said, really, really well done. Don't look at Chandler in the first scene. Really establish that status and just be like, And then really listen to Boniface. Look around and see things, but ground yourself down. Be purposeful. You're very exact in the age of your ale. Needs to be dismissive, kind of patronizing, and putting myself above him. Who is that Lady Bountiful you mentioned? Layer in a studied nonchalance, and how I definitely want to know. But it's like, yeah, who's that Lady Bountiful you mentioned? I can vocalize Dorinda when it's mentioned and be like, ooh, Dorinda, and really react and even vocalize it. Find a way to sit with my spine up. Like, how do I sit? Right? I need to be specific in my sitting, but not have my spine collapsed. That'll help also show my status. And then I can show off my calves, which is a very thing to do. Iniquity, I need to pronounce the T. Brought. Brought. I need to elongate that all. Sacrificing line. Oh, that's the line that it has often grieved the heart of me to see how some inhuman wretches sacrifice their. No, see, I do need to learn it better. It has often grieved the heart of me to see how some inhuman wretches murder their kind fortunes, those that by sacrificing all to one appetite shall starve all the rest. That's a big moment for my character as I'm contemplating life. Last stage, we take a breath. Aim well on my last line in that little section. I'll say a match, and instead of repeating it, Archer will say a match. And then, have you any veal? That veal needs to go up, so it's more questioning and a little more patronizing. And delightfully patronizing. Like, ha ha, oh, you don't have any veal? You don't have any fish? No wildfowl? Shame. That kind of idea. And then find more of that international man of mystery and play perhaps this, perhaps that. Follow the music and use the ribbon for the long lines. Yeah, that was the notes. And then we had a financial literacy for artists. And I guess I'll just read it. It's pretty straightforward, but it's dense. So, what was his name? Ronak Patani? Ronak? Might be an A. But he presented this, and this is something that he's really acquired himself, and so he didn't want us to record or anything, which is funny because I started recording it. But to be successful, you need planning. And as an independent creator, you need to think of yourself as a business, right? He quoted, I think it's Jay-Z. It's like, I ain't a businessman. I'm a business man. He said, if you ever forget, just focus on these principles. Profit equals income minus expenses. Tax the gap, 20, 40, 45, 6, 26, 30. Discipline equals freedom. Make my money work while I sleep. So employer and employee self-management. The best bit is that you have no boss. The worst bit is that you have no boss, so you're responsible. Yeah, so it's pay versus self-employed. Pay, P-A-Y-E, which is I don't know what it stands for, but that's like a regular salary job. So for example, it's this chart right here. So pay is if you gross 30,000 pounds, then you're going to get taxed and your national insurance at 20%. So you come out, so 6,000 pounds is taken from that. Your take home is 24K. But then your living income is 14K. And there's security in it, it's savings at 10%, 14K, more or less. And then self-employed, 30K, your expenses are 10K. So your profit or income minus expenses, right? So that's 20K. And then you're taxed only on that 20K, which is 4,000. Your living income is 16K. And it's irregular, but savings at 10% is 1,600. So the idea is you kind of get more or less, you get taxed on less. But savings is a non-negotiable, just like rent. You just got to pay it right away. Payroll is already taxed, so you don't need to tax anything else. Tax basics is UK tax year is April 6th until April 5th of the next year. To file a tax return, you need the UTR number, your unique taxpayer reference, for immigrants as well. The tax year is April 6th to April 5th. That's 12 months. And then you have another 9 months to pay it. So it's like a kind of 21-month cycle. And then so you got to pay it by January, like the 31st. And then by July the 31st, you have your second payment, which I think I'll get to. The payment on account. It's like the idea is it's a required payment. It's like required buffer. It's like a safety deposit, you know, that if something happens, you can take out of that. But it's kind of still yours. You're just putting it aside. You can't touch it. Your personal allowance, aka tax-free money, is £12,570, and so 0% of that is taxed. So if that's all you make, you never tax. You never pay taxes. So it's saying about £1,000 a month. If you earn £12,571, you're taxed 20 pence. So only pay based on after this number. So self-employed businesses is not separate. They're gonna kind of look at all of it, but like you have to do your own taxes individually on that one because that's like what they're looking at. It's confusing, but so the tax rate for the UK is 0 to 12,570 is personal allowance, no tax. Then 12,571 to 50,270 is 20%. 50,000 to 50,271 to 150,000 pounds is 40%. And then 150,000 pounds and up is 45% tax. So the national insurance is there's class 2 and class 4 is all we really have to worry about. But if you had like an M&S job, they will take class 1. The national insurance contribution gives you access to state pension, maternity allowance, bereavement support, and others. And always pay the voluntary flat rate of like £3.45 per week for profits below 6,275. I don't know. There's so many numbers, but so £3 45 pence at 52 weeks is 179 pounds and 40 pence. So rounded up to 180. So you're paying 180 pounds to get access to all those other things, to state pension, maternity allowance, bereavement support. Class 4 is a percentage of your profits. So 6% of profits is between 12,570 pounds and 550,270, and 2% afterwards. So the national insurance something, NIC, what was that? National insurance contribution are separate from income tax. So you need to budget for it. And then student finance, I'm not going to talk too much about this because this was specifically UK student finance, like student loans for the UK, which I don't have. But the idea is this is the 9% that we mentioned before, maybe. But 26 for no student finance and 30 for local student finance. Repayment rule, you pay 9% of annual profit that falls above specific plan's threshold. Postgraduate loan, post 2016, you repay 6% on profits over 21,000 pounds. This is separate bill, and this is for loans from the UK, not me. And so for your pay job, PAYE, they want all of your payments. And then we got a little tax test to see if we were making sense. And then payment on account, which is this second tax payment. So it's paying next year's tax today. So from a £2,000 bill, you pay £4,000. It's a payment in advance that you hold for, that they hold for you to anticipate your next payment and can really help you. This guy talked about a time when he had a great month, and so he paid the extra, and then the next month was bad, and so he didn't have the money because of his payments or whatever. So the money you spend, Oh, expenses. Then we talked about expenses a little bit. So the money you spend to make money. Okay, it must be wholly and exclusively for your product, which I am my product. Goods and materials, cameras, lighting, etc. Professional fees, promos, websites, other things. Travel expenses, mileage, public transport, accommodations. Um, the work for home situation is like bills, rents, mortgage, utilities, insurance, council tax. You can claim a percentage of these. Say if you work from home and you're doing self tapes, you can like percentage out. Like I have 4 rooms, so I use one of these rooms for my thing. Just divide everything by 4. Um, then there's also great principles like the headshot principle. You claim that you look like your headshot, so anything to maintain that can be tax deductible. So a haircut can be tax deductible. A gym can be tax deductible. Certain health things can be tax deductible, but you know you might have to argue for that. And then afterwards, we had some. Actually, not after. We had to leave in the middle of it, so I didn't get all of it. But we had combat to practice for fight night. And that's good. Yeah, I still need to practice some more. But yeah, so that was the day. Hope you enjoyed it. I have a video fight night. Well, the fight night thing, it's all the way through, so I might attach that here. But I hope you have a lovely day. Lots of love. Bye.
That's it. Let the fingers turn you. That's good, 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 good.